Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's lesson we are going to look at formal written greetings and informal written greetings. These could help you, for example, when writing an email to your boss or a letter to a future employer. If you have any video requests, please do comment them below, and now let's get on to the video. Let's start with formal written greetings. These will change depending on what you are writing, be it a letter, an email, or something else. As I've said before, context is very important. Let's say that you are writing a letter or an email to someone you have never met or spoken to before. This could be a job application, for instance. If you know the name of the person you are writing to, you can, of course, address them using it. For example, Dear Mr. Smith or Dear Mrs. Smith. Dear can be written in both formal and informal contexts. I would address a colleague at work using dear, but I would also write Dear Mum. It is simply considered a polite way to address a letter or email. However, it takes on a different tone when spoken. If you call someone dear, this signifies affection, and it is a word often exchanged between married couples. Sometimes people start emails with just the recipient's name. For example, Mr. Smith, I heard about your proposal. However, I wouldn't recommend this as a formal greeting because it sounds a little impolite. Dear Mr. Smith is better. Mr. refers to anyone who identifies as male. If you are addressing someone who identifies as female, it can sometimes be difficult to know whether or not they are married. Mrs. refers to someone who identifies as female and is married. Miss refers to someone who identifies as female and is unmarried. And Ms. does not indicate marital status, so is the general title for someone who identifies as female. However, Ms. is often used to refer to someone who identifies as female and is either divorced or widowed. There is also the gender-neutral title mix or mux, which can be used to refer to someone of unspecified or non-binary gender. Dear Mux Smith, Dear Mrs. Smith, Dear Mr. Smith, Dear Miss Smith, and Dear Ms. Smith. If you do not know the surname of the person you are writing to, there are various formal greetings you can use. Dear Sir or Madam is commonly used, but does not include a gender-neutral option. Instead, you could use To Whom It May Concern, which is a very popular choice. As a side note, the way you finish your letter should change depending on whether or not you know the name of the person you are writing to. If you do know their name, for example, Dear Mr. Smith, then you will finish your letter by writing Yours sincerely, followed by your name. If you do not know their name, for example, To Whom It May Concern, then you will finish your letter by writing Yours faithfully, followed by your name. We can look in more detail at spoken and written farewells during another lesson. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening are also acceptable formal written greetings. However, they are better suited to emails than to letters. I might start an email to my manager by writing good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on the time of day. These greetings are less formal than "Dear Sir or Madam" and "To whom it may concern." But if you know the person, it is always easier to be less formal. If you don't know the person you are writing to, it is best to be as formal as possible to avoid causing offence. Definitely don't start with "Hi, how's it going?" or "Hey there" if you are writing to someone you have never met before, because this could be considered impolite and unprofessional. Another thing to be aware of is that it is always good to match the tone of the person you are writing to. If you send someone an initial email with the greeting "Dear Mr. Smith," for example, and he replies with "Hi Jennifer," then you can match this tone when you respond. "Hi Mr. Smith, thank you for your email." As I said, context is very important, and if in doubt, use a formal written greeting. Dear Mr., Mrs., Mux, Ms, or Miss. Dear Sir or Madam, to whom it may concern. You may also choose to follow a formal greeting with an additional sentence, such as, "I hope this email finds you well." Dear Mr. Smith, I hope this email finds you well. This is both polite and professional. It means, I hope you are well. Sometimes, even if I am emailing someone for the first time, I will write, "I hope you had a lovely weekend," or "I hope you are having a good week." In my opinion, it is always good to greet someone in a friendly manner. Let's say that someone you emailed for the first time has replied to you, and let's call him Mr. Smith again. How could you greet him in your next email? You could start by writing "Dear Mr. Smith," and then follow this with "Thank you for your email," or "Thank you for your help," or "I appreciate your quick response," or "Thank you for getting back to me so quickly." These greetings add warmth and friendliness to your writing. What if the person you emailed has not replied to you? How do you greet them in a follow-up email without sounding rude or impatient? Here are some things you could write. I am just following up on the email I sent last week. Please could you provide an update on? To follow up on our meeting or discussion, let's briefly move on now to informal written greetings. It can sometimes be difficult to know whether or not it is okay to use an informal greeting. As I said, it is usually better to be more formal if you are unsure. It is unlikely that I would send a formal email to my friend or an informal text to my boss. However, lots of workplaces now use social media, for example Microsoft Teams, which encourages informality and can be confusing. Informal written greetings are pretty much the same as informal spoken greetings. Hi, long time no see. Hey there. Hey. How's it going? How are you doing? How's everything? How's life? What's up? If you are texting your friend or someone you know really well, you may even use text language abbreviations. If you are messaging your boss or someone in a more formal context, it would be better to write "How are you?" as opposed to "How's it going?" As I've said, the greeting you choose really depends on the relationship you have with that person. Well done, everyone, and thank you so much for joining. If you would like an extra task now, I challenge you to use the comment section below to write a very short formal email to a future employer. You are applying for your dream job, so don't forget to tell the employer why you would like the job and to sign off the email in the correct way. You can choose whether to address the email to someone with a name or without a name. I will read and reply to all of them. Thank you again for joining and have a lovely weekend. I'll see you next week. Bye!